Alrighty, old Gatekeeper here, out here around the northeast end of Georgia. Got Mr. C, Mr. Charlie's Texas Star 500 here. He mainly sent this thing in for me just to look it over, make sure everything's going good with it, and to do a full power wire upgrade all the way to the back of the transformers, and to get a Anderson plug installed for him. So that's what we did right here, big brother. Got you some big whopping Anderson power pole plugs installed for you. Got the full power wire upgrade done. I forgot to put a plug in there. I usually like putting plugs in there just to cover up that hole. Ain't no big deal. That's where I normally will put the jack for a fan kit too, if anybody ever wants a fan kit. And here is the set that I will be sending you. Two brand new, as they call them, fingers. So I'll be sending that with you, man, so you can put on your power wires at the house. And the way that I do these power plugs, I've bought a big bulk of them so I can start using them for the Texas Stars. And I'm going to use the red for right, black for left, red right. Because, you know, sometimes if you take these power poles, you can take them apart. That's the kind of neat thing about them. Oops. You can take them apart and put 2, 3, 4 of them together if you want to, which would be pretty cool for a bigger amplifier. If you wanted to take 4 of them, you know, split the power wires up like that. But so that's the way I'm gonna be doing: red on the right, and black on the left. So because if you do them the other way and you plug them in wrong, that's also why I'm using 2 different colors too. Mostly they come in one color, so I bought a bulk of red and a bulk of black so I can put them together. Alright, brother. Well, when I first got the amp, I did not have any information on it. I could have misplaced it possibly, or you may not have sent any. You might have told me on the phone or something. But so I kind of went into it blind, not knowing if there was an issue with it or what. I went ahead and did the power wire upgrade first on this one. And so I started checking it out. First I checked the bias out. That's the very first thing I ever do. I checked the bias. The bias was good on both 2-pill sections. Okay. And then I slowly started to inject some RF into it with it all the way down. Turned all the way down. And I quickly noticed that the pot was not working. I quickly noticed that, and I pretty much could tell that anyway. And it was loose. That's also what kind of got my attention toward this area, that was loose. Another thing I had noticed was your coax here that's actually taking your RF to your splitter was wedged in between this metal clad right here perfectly. So once this thing heated up, it would start melting into this coax. But believe it or not, there was no indentions of it heating up, so maybe that was just done before you had sent it to me, so there was no reason for replacing this coax. But what I did do is I went ahead and replaced these 2 coaxes right here. And the reason why I did that, let me show you. If you take a look at this, it appears that somebody has either, let's see if I can't get this to focus for you. There we go. It appears that somebody has either removed the board and undid these or replaced this for some reason. And that right there is cut. It's a clean cut into the shield there. And then the center conductor was all melted, as you can see. And it just didn't look too well to me. Whenever I see something like this, I like to replace it just to be safe. And just so I can know that both of these are the same exact coaxes, I went ahead and replaced both of them. I don't replace one without replacing the other. So I replaced it with 2 brand new Belden RG58s. That's what they use right here, is RG58. So I just went ahead and put the same on there, some RG58. So I replaced them for you. Alright, so I installed a new pot. Now, this is a first time for me. I love first timers because that means I'm going to learn a little something. So I installed a pot in here for you, which is this one. And I started to check it out, and as soon as I started to, you know, key and kind of move the variable back while I was keyed, I could feel some vibration in the pot. And lo and behold, it did not blow the brand new dang pot. Just right there on the spot. And guess what? That pot was blown the same as this one was, which was the one that came on your amp. And I'm like, huh, what the heck is causing that? You know, I've never had that happen before. You know, you hear a lot of people say it's not real good for the pot to key up and move it while you're keyed. But I know sometimes, you know, you want to get it right where you want it when you're using it as a driver or something. And yes, it ain't the best thing to do, but we all do it still sometimes, you know. But still, it's not supposed to do that. It was damaging the pot. I could feel a vibration in it and hear a sound like the RF was cooking it, you know. So I started looking around the circuit, man, and lo and behold, for some reason, your splitter right here was pushed all the way down on the board. And it seemed that the splitter was shorting itself a little bit on the ground. So as soon as I lifted that and stretched that up, all I had to do was just take a pick and stretch it up. As soon as I stretched it up, you know, I had to, at this point, about the only thing I could do is install another variable. And in my mind, I was thinking that had to be what was causing the issue, you know, because I mean, that's right there, that close to the variable. It's got to be. And that was the issue. So that was the issue. And I am completely out of 250 ohm pots. So I had to put you a brand new 100 ohm pot on there. Okay. And it still works well. It still works just fine. I'll show you that here in a minute. The 250 will just allow you to turn it down a lot lower. And I don't know if you've noticed, but Texas Star finally found out that using a 250 ohm pot was causing people to blow the pot. Even though they are using this pot in junction with a voltage dividing circuit with a 75 ohm resistor right here, even though these two do share the wattage of the RF, of the voltage of the RF, it still can get a little hot. And it does, when people start turning the variable down to a certain extent, it'll blow it eventually. And if you've noticed, they've all adjusted their circuits, and now they're using 20 ohm pots, and they're actually working very well, believe it or not. They adjusted the circuit a little bit, and so this thing's rocking and rolling, man. I know you want this, and of course, excuse me, the last two things I did, which is default, I soldered all your tabs to make sure these never get oxidized in the future and you start losing your power to your lights here. And I went ahead and thickened up. This is just something I do, you know. I thickened up on the output pad right here, because see, after both of the two pills combine together right here at this combiner, they flow down this path over to the switch, and then from the switch over to the relay. And I just noticed a little piece right there. That's not a loose piece though. But anyway, so then it switch, you know, goes over to the relay. So what I've liked doing, I could thicken up on that too. I might start doing that from now on. Thicken up all the way there, and then this trace to the relay. So I just like to thicken up on the solder just to make it a little thicker. I understand the RF is rolling with a skin effect and everything, but it's just something I do. I don't never really notice a wattage increase of me doing that, but it's just one of my things I like to do on every Texas Star. Just makes me feel better to know that that's a little, you know, it's a little thicker instead of, you know, something thinner than paper, the RF traveling down. Maybe it'll run a little cooler. I've never ran a Texas Star. Maybe one day I'll do it, you know, run it pretty hard and kind of take the temperature of this trace right here to see how much it warms up without thickening it up, you know. Whenever I get caught up, I've got a list of tests I want to do, you know, just different tests. Alright, man, so first I'm just going to show you what the amplifier is doing. Just hitting it with a barefoot radio, a 4-watt radio, a very small radio, on Let's see here. The power supply is on 15.2 volts. Let's do this right here to make it a little bit more like a mobile. We'll put on 14.3 volts. Okay. So this will be just like a tiny radio hooked up in the mobile, and we'll let you see that. And then what I'm going to do is go ahead and hook up a driver after that, and let you see what this bad boy is doing. See, I really don't have to hook up a driver. I can go over there to my hot derail radio over there and just hit it with that. But I'm going to do it the same as I've done 500s in the past to kind of keep it more on a reference level, since you have seen other videos in the past before I've had the derail radio. So I'm going to do that the same and just use my hot radio that's doing 8 watts RMS and just kind of work my way up just to let you see what it's doing when I burp it on the high side. I know you kind of wanted to see what it would do. It was a request, so that's why I'm definitely going to do it for you now. So here's what it's doing just with a 4 watts RMS drive, which is peaking about 15 to 20 watts at the most. Okay, we're on a 1000 watt slug. Alright, this is on high at first. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Almost 200 bird, about 180. Here's your peak. Oh, see, it's already getting the 500 watts that's advertised by Texas Star. And that is what they advertise pretty much. A 4 watt drive should give you about 500 watts. So you are getting that with no problem. That's how you know this amp is working the way it should be working. Oh, that's about 550. About 550. Alright. Now I'm going to enable your variable. See, that's one thing that anybody watching this, you always need to remember. If you're ever going to use a driver with this amplifier, or if you're going to use a high wattage radio, it's best to run it on high, because as soon as you press this green button in, okay, the delay button does not have any attenuation on it. That's just for a delay for this 500, okay? But when you press this green button in, now you have this 75 ohm variable in play. And even when the variable's turned all the way up, there's still a 75 ohm pad. So it's going to knock your power down, even with the variable all the way up, but now the variable is active. This mode right here is for low drive application. You know, that's the cool thing about Texas Stars. That's why when you take this out, the variable becomes disabled, because now it's in high drive. Because if you drive, you know, this amp real hard in this, you're going to either blow your variable. You could pop this 75 ohm, which I haven't seen done many times, but I have had it done before. And so just to let you know, okay. So now we've got it on medium. Got the variable turned all the way up. All right, now it should knock you down below 400 watts, I think. Oh, I need to do something about my radio is under the table, and this mic has been stretching so much it's got a little short in it. Sometimes it won't key. Oh, yeah, see a little bit over 400 watts, PEP. Oh, yeah, just to see bird. Oh, yeah, a little bit over 100 bird. Alright. Now I'm going to take the variable and just work it back a little bit and just show you that the variable's working. Oh, come on, microphone. Oh, see 300 watts. Let's turn it back a little bit more. Sorry about it not focusing well. Oh, hold on a second. Let me get over here and make sure this thing ain't come unloop. I need to get me another microphone. What I need to do. Okay. Oh, so now we're down a little bit over 200 watts. We'll go ahead and turn it down all the way just so you can see that. Oh, see 100 watts. Me personally, I wouldn't run it down all the way if I was you. if you don't have to. There's your front meter. Oh yeah. All the way down. Oh yeah. Just for relative reference. Alright. Let's go ahead and put it on high. Put this bad boy on the 100 amp unregged supply. And let's see what this thing's gonna do, man. Let's hook up a driver. I think what I'll do first is just key it with the bench radio first, and then we'll ease on in to the hot radio and see what this bad boy is going to do for you. All right, we'll be back. All right, brother, I've got my the epoxy 1 pill, the very first box I ever constructed. I call it the epoxy 1 pill because when I got done with it, back when I didn't know how to solder, I put glue on every solder connection because I didn't even understand I'm supposed to heat up the object that I'm soldered. I was literally trying to drop solder and glue it with solder or something. I didn't know what I was doing. So that's my that's what I like to keep around and use it as a driver. One of these days I'm gonna take some freaking time and put a fan on top. You know, it's just a driver for the bench, but I still can make it a little bit more presentable, I guess. That's probably the 5th or 6th top it's had. I'll do that, take the top off, and use it for a brand new build or something, or you know, so I won't have to drill, because I don't use these cases much anymore. But when I have, you know, I'll always put a fan in it just so it can have some air going through it. Some air is better than none. So all right, man. So we are using the bench radio, okay, going through the driver into the 500. All right, what we're driving into the 500 is about 20-30 bird, okay. That's probably right 100 peak watts if you want to look at it like that too. All right, so what we're getting, I got the variable turned back just a tad bit too. I noticed when it variable turned all the way up, I'm getting about a 250 watt dead key, and it's swinging to about around 300. But we're getting close to 300 bird. As you can see, 300 bird right there at it. Let's see if I turn the variable up. Right there at 300 bird. Here's your peak now. Right there at 800 watts, just a little bit over 800. And that right there is dropping to 14.1 volts. A little bit past 800, about 850. All right. And like I said, you know, we got a driver going into it. Me personally, if I ever did run a driver, I wouldn't run no more than this. These boxes, man, they're biased. They're really designed to not do driving the piss out of them. Whenever you see me doing this on these videos, I'm just showing you what they can do, okay? I'm just doing what I call burping them, just quick keying them. And I'm just showing you what they can do. I'm never sitting here telling you to do this. You understand what I'm saying? I'm just showing you that the gain is there. The box is working the way it's supposed to. If it wasn't, it wouldn't be doing this type of power. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just showing you what it can do. But I'm not sitting there saying, get out there and run the hell out of it like I'm doing. Alright, so now what we're going to do is hook up the hot radio. I do have the 100 amp supply on the medium tap right now. Okay, so if I had it on the high tap, it'd be doing a lot more, of course, but the voltage would probably be a little bit too high. It wouldn't be pulling the supply down hard enough, and would probably be seeing 350 bird or so, and probably 1,000 watts at that point. But what I'm going to do is just hook up the well, heck, we'll burp it real quick on the high tap, because I got to turn on the high tap anyway to hook up the hot radio. Alrighty, now we're floating at 21 volts. It won't be too much longer, y'all. You'll see Gatekeeper using regulated supplies, which I still plan on using unregulated supplies under certain circumstances, but we're just going to do this real quick. RMS. I'm going to look away from the meter while I key and look at the volt drop. If it's too high, I'm not going to key it again. There you go, focus. Ooh, yes, it's 16 volts, just like I thought. I didn't even see what it swanged. Ooh, ooh, see, 1,000 watts in the corner, just like I thought. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hook up the hot radio. There really ain't no reason to show any peak watts after that. I'm going to show you RMS, and because you know it's doing over 1,000 at that point, no doubt. So this is going to bring your RMS up now, because the radio I'm hooking up is a higher RMS radio, meaning it can dead key higher and still swing, and without swinging backwards. So we'll be right back. Let me get everything hooked up. Alrighty, we got the hot radio hooked up to the driver, going into the 500. So let's see what she's going to do. This is RMS. Focus. Focus. Go. Right there, about 450 bird, brother. Go. I know you've seen some in the past that'll do 500. Let me see what the volt's dropping. Ooh, yeah, the volt's dropping to 15 too. Now I do want to tell you this too, bud. It is freezing cold out here, and I've got my heaters on. So, well, I turned one heater off to help a little bit, but I still got my one heater on. So that is taking away a little bit from the supply. Because normally, sometimes it will float up to 22, 23 volts. And so that's probably taking away a little bit, but that's 450 bird, brother. It's working good. Now, I'm only going to do this one time. I don't know why I'm going to do this, but we're going to hook up the whole derail radio. The old derail radio. We're just going to do one key. One quick key. And before I do that, just for fun, I'm going to hook up this new slug I got. Where's it at? Here it is. I got me a new 500 watt slug. Just out of curiosity. Let me see what she's doing. Where's my mic? There it is. Alright. It's a brand new 500 watt slug I just got. So we're looking at the middle scale. 20s 200, 40s 400, etc. Ooh, wow. So that's doing over 500 bird on that slug. So you can do the math yourself. You know, each slug is a little different. And sometimes when you get closer to the slug, closer to your wattage, sometimes it'll be a little bit more accurate. So you're looking at 450, 500 bird already. But see, I got different 1,000 watt slugs too over here. I've got another 1,000 watt slug over this meter over here that I've had for not too long. I can't really remember which slug I was using, you know, the last couple of videos. So I know that you wanted to see it do 500, but this is the slug that I've been using for a couple of months now, at least. But I'm gonna put this 1,000 back in there. Alright, like I said, I'm going to key the derail radio one time. I'm going to press pause so I won't have to sit here and be moving around. Well, you know what? I can just do it all one hand here. I think. Where's the coax with the derail? Well, actually, I'm going to have to put a mic on the derail radio. I'll be right back. I'll tell you what, man. This radio is just bad to the goddamn bones. This radio makes my one pill driver do, ooh, about 80 watts. That's what it showed me on my 1,000 watt slug. Man, this is the highest output bird watt radio I have ever seen in person. Single final. Alright, one bird. That's it. I'm not going to look and see what it's doing because I'm kind of curious what the voltage is going to drop. Ooh. 14.7 is what the voltage dropped to. I can't wait till the video. I just want to see what it's doing. Ooh, 600 bird! 600 bird! Woo! Damn! Woo! 600 birds, son! Whew. I got a new title. Texas Star 500 doing 600 birds. God, do not, and I repeat, I don't want to see any of you out there running your Texas Star 500s like I just did. If you do, a catastrophe could be around the corner quickly. That's just a quick burp just to show the gains there. That's the way I justify doing this on video. Son! Alright. I'm gonna go calm down and get in the bed. Anybody need anything done like this? I got the Andersons in stock now. Anderson power poles are just the same, just as good as the regular Andersons. That's a bad to the bone radio right there, brother. Derail. Derail. He needs to pull his pants up because he showed his butt off on that radio. And he can still do me one even more output. Probably a dang Frankenstein then, but one of these days I'm gonna get me up about $500 or something and just go throw it on his table and say, look, I want you to build me the baddest Frankenstein blowers on both sides of the radio. If you got to put blowers on both sides, I don't care. Make a radio to do the absolute most bird watts possible to see if I can get a fourth hot radio, because I'm doing it in increments like this: 4, 8, 16. We just drove 16 bird into the driver, okay, which put 80 bird into the 500 and gave us 600 bird out. Man, and son, 14.7 volts too. Just imagine if I could have kept that thing about 15.5 volts. That'd have been 650, 700 bird, no problem. No problem. But, you don't need to run it that way. It's just fun to see it do it. You know what I mean? My toes are so cold. I can't feel my toes. I can't hardly feel my fingers out here. So I'm going and I'm getting in the goddamn bed. Old Gatekeeper out here around the northeast end of Georgia. I hope I somewhat entertained you, maybe, or at least maybe somebody got some enjoyment out of this video. That's one of the big reasons why I do like to do videos. God bless. 73rds to everybody out there. Mr. Charles, we'll get this bad boy into the mail to you tomorrow, bud. 73s. Bye bye.